bill that allows independent candidacy for elections moves to Buhari's stable. Candidates will be able to contest elections without being members of political parties if Buhari signs the bill. Although Buhari is the outgoing president, but if he signs the bill, candidates will be able to contest elections, without being members of political parties. Well, I think this will be a really great news, and I'm sure it's possible the Senate or the House will oppose it. The Senate has directed the clerk to the National Assembly to transmit Constitution Alteration Bill number 58 to President Muhammadu Buhari for assent, in line with the provisions of the Authentication Act. The bill sought to provide for independent candidacy in presidential, governorship, national and state houses of assembly and local government councils election. Deputy Senate Speaker Ovi Omagege, in a motion during Tuesday's plenary, said that the Gombe State House of Assembly had approved the Constitution Alteration Bill numbers 46 and 58 and forwarded its resolution to the National Assembly. Consequently, the upper chamber directed the clerk to transmit to the President Constitution Amendment Bill number 46. The bill sought to include the presiding officers of the National Assembly in the membership of the National Security Council. The two bills were part of the Constitution Alteration Bills transmitted to state houses of assembly for concurrence in 2022, but not part of the 35 that secured the required approval of 24 out of 36 state houses in the House of Assembly. Omagege, also the chairman of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Constitutional Review, said that with the approval of the Gombe Assembly, the bills on the dependent candidacy and inclusion of National Assembly presiding officers in the National Security Council membership had met the provisions of Section 9 in bracket 2 of the Constitution for passage. The News Agency of Nigeria, NAN, reports that the National Assembly had earlier transmitted 35 constitution alteration bills to the President for assent, out which 19 of them were rejected and 16 signed into law. On May 2nd, the National Assembly approved a uniform retirement age for judicial officers after it met the constitutional requirement. The state houses of assembly that were yet to forward their resolutions on the constitutional amendment bills were Jigawa, Kebbi, Kwara, Plateau, and Taraba. Wow, if this bill is passed into law and is approved by the Senate, I think this is really a great news. Definitely, we have a number of people who are not political members going for this position. Definitely, I can contest. But the bitter truth is, there's a reason behind every action. Fine, if this bill is passed into Senate, the truth is that it might stay for a very long time before it's approved. Or it might not be approved. There's a thing for it to be passed into the House, and there's also another thing for senators to say yeah, that is yes, or nay, which is no. And for the Senate President to say maybe the yes have it or the no's have it. Fine. How will it be? Now, we should also consider other countries. As it be working, this is a democratic country. It is not an autocratic country. Yeah, this is a democratic country in which you have a voice. People can speak up their minds. But we speaking up our mind, we must be so careful in not saying things that will hurt the government. Because some people, they've misused the power of democracy and they've landed in trouble. Now, if this bill is passed into House, that members and non-political parties can contest for positions in Nigeria, will this be acceptable? Now, what qualifies a person to be a member of political party? Although, definitely, primarily, we can say you attend political meetings right? You going to political meetings, you also at least doing maybe a community service, you representing and also meeting with political stakeholders. Fine. Even though you are not yet holding a position, you get to a stage in which maybe you would have met the requirements of the political party, be it PDP, Labour Party, APC, NNPP, and all other parties in Nigeria. You'd have met the party and you can now contest. Fine. Also, in these stages, I cannot just go to become a Senate president when I'm a newbie in a political party. Fine, there is hierarchy. If this bill is passed in Nigeria, can it be passed? Rather, if this bill is accepted, right, can it be passed in the House? If it's passed, what are the pros and cons? What are the advantages? Will it be that anybody, even though you don't have like a godfather in politics, can you contest? Will they allow you? Will the Senate, will it cause hard work? Will political people, I better say politicians, will they accept this bill to be passed? Will there be an opposition to the bill being passed? For it to hold a political position, for it to contest, you must join a political party. If this bill is passed, who opposed this motion and who brought this up? The senators in the House. Now we should know that the senators, most of them are not returning, or better still, some of them are not returning, and there will also be a new change definitely in the House of Senate, in the Senate House. Now, if this bill is passed, will the new Senate President approve it? Also, the House, the lower chamber or high chamber, will they approve it also? Will you think of all this? Nigeria politics is really a funny one. A bill can be submitted to House, and it might stay there, and it can be adjourned. We've heard stories of bills that were passed into House and they were not approved, and we've heard stories of bills that were not acceptable and were approved, maybe because of pressure from different political parties. If you want to hold a political position, join a political party. Fine. We can say join a political party, requires a fee or two in which there's favoritism, in which people who know maybe the godfathers being chosen above intellectual people who don't really know a person, they will not really accept that. Fine, the bill to be passed, join a political party, and join a political party that supports your view. Join a political party that has the same mind as you. Join a political party that will help you. Join a party that you can improve. I think this is going to be the best way for a bill to be passed. There are also other bills that need to be approved for a long time. Educational bills, bills for women, a lot of bills that are not yet passed, that are not yet accepted. We bring in a bill, piling up with other bills in the House or in the Senate House. That doesn't really make it. Why don't we frustrate the bills that are already in the House as the night house is going? We should be hopeful.